Moby. Hi.
Great to meet you, Moby.
Tyler.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Come on in.
Wow. Oh wow. I recognize you. Oh my gosh, I never recognized.
A lot of us little bald guys look the same.
Oh my gosh.
I'm Moby, and we're here at my restaurant, Little Pine, in Los Angeles. And I guess most people would know me as a musician.
Wow.
Thanks for coming over. I was a philosophy major in college. I taught Bible study for a long time. I guess I've just been obsessed with spirituality, and so I'm much more interested in whatever sort of meaning or significance might exist beyond our like quotidian daily experience.
Wow.
I'm curious about the whole process. My girlfriend Lindsay is watching on a video monitor. This should be interesting.
Have you ever had a reading before?
I've never been to a medium. Yeah, so this is my first time.
Awesome, great. Well, I'm gonna pop your cherry.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I know almost nothing about what I'm entering into, but I think I'm here just for the direct experience of having the reading done.
You know, I always kind of like to explain the process on how I work because everyone does it so differently. I like to focus on like the sentimental details that nobody could possibly know. The less I know about you, the better. Don't feel like you have to hold back, but just don't give away too much information. I think it's really important to have a healthy degree of skepticism because I think that's how we learn.
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm skeptical, though. I'm just open.
Awesome.
Like, I'm neither a believer nor am I like closed off, skeptical, saying like you need to prove yourself to me. I'm just like, I'd say benignly open.
Awesome. So generally how this works is usually I just kind of will place my hand on an object, and that's kind of how I make a connection. Now, it could be a connection to the person who owned it or had a connection to it.
Okay.
Or it could bring
Should I take it out?
Sure, if you'd like, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Perfect. All right, so I'm just gonna gently do this, and I'll start scribbling, and I'll see what pops in. But what's interesting is I have two distinct energies that I need to kind of highlight. And one I would view as being, very maternal, and the other is very paternal. But they come through separately, not together. Dad's side's kind of trying to pop in. Do you know if anyone has any New Jersey connections on your dad's side?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
My grandmother on my father's side lived in New Jersey,
Right.
and my father was from New Jersey.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sure. No problem.
So
We'll work with it.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing I want to mention is that he comes through as like dad. So is your father actually passed away?
Yes.
Okay. There's two James I have to highlight that I want to mention, but it's connected to that.
My
Two James.
I don't know about the second James, but my father's name was James.
Okay. There's an acknowledgement that this man has a very close connection to you, but he's had a closer connection to you on the other side than he ever got to in life, in the way that this comes across. And
Are you
he
sure? Are you
references-
sure we've never met before?
I'm pretty sure. That side on your dad's side does have, as all families do, some element of dysfunction. There's an acknowledgement on his end of family that there were multiple alcoholics on multiple generations that I need to highlight.
Am I allowed to talk?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
My father died when I was 2, and my father died very drunk because he was an alcoholic, and he died in a car accident when he was driving.
Wow, okay. If there's any message from Dad, it's just he takes accountability and understands what contributed to his passing. And in the way that this comes across, he feels like the man that you've been able to become, he is so immensely proud of because you've had to do so much on your own.
My dad died when I was 2, and my aunts and uncles who remember him told me that he was very quick-witted, really funny, like just super sharp, but also a troubled, heavy drinker.
So we're gonna take this to the next level because I have a lot more kind of coming through, okay? So, do you know if there's a Liz in the family at all, to your knowledge?
Yeah, without question. That's my mom and the woman who painted this.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is insane. This is insane. He's right on every single thing.
For what it's worth, everything you've said so far has been lovely but disconcertingly accurate.
Okay, no worries. Well, we'll see. I mean,
No, in a good way.
Good.
Yeah. So my mom painted this of me. I think it might have been the only portrait that she ever really painted that I sat for.
I love that. What an amazing moment to get to capture. And it has so much meaning, and that oftentimes really makes a big difference when I'm holding on to an object. This is interesting the way this comes across. Now, there is a woman who comes on your mom's side who references to an illness, and this is like referencing to decline. There is a reference to cancer that I need to mention on your mom's side, and then we talk about this being rapid or quick. In the last month, I feel like everything kind of speeds up. Do you know who had the cancer that ultimately affected the lungs?
My mom.
Okay. Now, the thing that comes through with this is there's an acknowledgement of a scan and missing a scan, as in like if we get a scan and everything looks fine, and then we end up having to need another and we like reveal something as being wrong.
Okay.
That's kind of the gist that comes through. But there's,
That's very specific.
yes,
It's also accurate.
yes,
Yeah, she had been a smoker her whole life.
right,
And then she had terrible respiratory problems.
Right.
And her HMO kept saying, oh, it's a cold.
right,
It's like months and months would go by and they'd say, oh, you have a cold, you have bronchitis.
right,
Basically, they waited like 4 months to do any tests for cancer.
right.
And I guess that's technically why she died so young.
Sure, and to her, I mean, as a person going through this experience, I think it was important for her now for it to be known that she knows that though things could have been done differently, ultimately she was going to pass away anyway. So regardless of how that situation went, she's feeling a sense of like, it's okay
Okay.
with how this went, and I'm okay with how this went.
Okay. My mom had been a smoker for most of her life. So in the 50s and 60s, she was encouraged by her doctors to smoke as a way of like calming down anxiety. Yeah. So, not surprisingly, she developed lung cancer. They did chemo, they did radiation, and nothing worked. So it was a very quick decline and progression.
Did your mom have I don't know why she's presenting the sense of humor, but it's fun. It's a unique sense of humor. She's an interesting lady. Let me think how to put this. She's joking about being moody, and like, there's a reference to like, I'm one way this way and then another way the next, but it's like dependent on the day. But she's not viewing this like a negative sense. It's more of like a self-deprecating kind of like a funny thing. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense. Yeah, she was funny. And I sort of, like growing up, I didn't know that there were unfunny people in the world. Part of, I think, what is sort of coming through, I get the sense that there's like a little bit of a playfulness to it.
Absolutely, and I would say that's a great way to put it. There's a deep need from her perspective for you to know that you were never a burden, and that raising you from her perspective was a privilege, and that regardless of how she handled or mishandled certain situations, that fundamentally she loved you. She acknowledges her love life and her relationships, and never wanted those relationships to take away from her relationship with you. And that's the way I would put it.
Okay, that was a huge part of growing up.
Yeah. This is just somebody who was trying to be happy and find a sense of fulfillment in ways that, you know, she might have struggled with. So that
makes a lot of sense. My mom raised me on her own, and the relationship we had was very complicated. At times, she was my best friend, and then other times she was also a little bit boy obsessed. So sometimes she would kind of disappear with men that she was dating. So I would say I had a challenging, complicated, at times wonderful, and at times difficult relationship with my mom.
There's one thing I need to kind of, this is, okay. Sorry, I just have to figure out where I'm going, because your mom's showing me white roses. And when I see those, this is interesting the way this is coming in. Grave. This is strange. Give me 1 second. There's a feeling of not wanting there to be a guilt about not visiting, but it's acknowledging like where I'm physically at, and there's a feeling of like there's no need. I'm not getting that feeling of like needing to go to someone's gravesite or anything along those lines. It doesn't come through in that way because I'm not getting a reference to a gravesite.
So she's, what was she saying?
Usually when they come through, they'll be like, okay, I know that you were at my grave, or I know that you were visiting my grave, but she doesn't reference to that at all. She's like, this is not even, when it would normally be the case, this isn't the case.
Okay, everything else seemed, I mean, everything's been very accurate, but
No worries.
I'm so taken aback. That's not, because you won't, well, for what, I don't know. You're freaking me out. That's actually such a weird detail that I'm embarrassed of it.
No worries.
That I couldn't bring myself to go to her grave for about 17 years after she died.
Right.
And to the extent that I didn't even know where it was.
That's okay. Yeah.
I only went to her grave for the first time like about a month ago.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
Yeah. Because she was my mom, I worked under the assumption that she wasn't too troubled with me not visiting this piece of stone in the ground. I think she'd rather be remembered through creativity and through humor and through intelligence.
There's a feeling of it's okay for how this was handled.
Okay, good.
She's so far removed from where her physical body was at.
Okay, that was a weird detail.
Yeah.
I didn't visit my mom's grave for about 17 years until after she died. So there's no way, it's not on Google. Like there's no pictures were taken. There's no record of it at all. That couldn't, and I haven't even told anyone about it. It was when he mentioned my mom's grave. That one thing proved to me that it made me really believe that there's a lot of baffling legitimacy to this. I mean, this has actually been nice and bizarrely accurate, but it's almost just sort of been like since my mom died, I'd sort of forgotten about her character.
Right.
And I am actually getting a sense of her character coming through.
Yeah.
And it's really nice. It has opened me up to the idea that the nicest parts of who we are the ones that transcend death. And we're left with a spirit of more of just like love and brightness.
Whew, yeah, it's a lot. It's so amazing meeting you.
Oh, nice to meet you as well.
For the opportunity.
Yeah, this was wonderful and interesting and
Yes.
completely baffling.
I'm so glad.
Thank you very much.
I'm so glad. Well, thank you.
I feel kind of stunned. I've never encountered a complete stranger and then a few minutes later had them tell me some of the most intimate details of my personal life. I almost feel like I need to go home and sort of spend some time just processing. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you a hug.
Thank you for popping my
Psychic cherry.
Psychic cherry.
Yes.
It's a big, intense thing to go through. Okay, bye.
All right, bye. It was such a shock sitting across from someone who's a music icon and going in depth into his personal life. It was so surreal because I got to meet someone that I really looked up to and got to change his life.
So you were watching
Yeah.
the whole time?
That was insane.
Yeah, some of the details, they were just so specific. I was like, how do you possibly do that?
Coming right out with like all of the names.
And the one where I actually was like having a hard time sort of keeping it together was when he mentioned me going to my mom's grave, because you were there.
I know.
I think it was your idea.
And he was talking about white flowers.
Yeah, he said
and we
white.
put
He said, I see white
flowers.
roses, and I was like, oh, they were like white
We
spring
put
flowers.
white flowers on them.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was very intense.